You may actually want to avoid moving to Katy, Texas. According to niche.com, Katy, Texas is one of the top 3 best suburbs to move to in the state of Texas. Despite the fact that this city is minutes outside of Houston, the 4th largest city in the US, and boasts top-rated schools and award-winning master plan communities, you may actually want to avoid moving to Katy, Texas unless you can handle these 5 facts. Hi there, this is Jaleesa McLennan, your Houston area real estate agent. And a couple of years ago, I was in this exact same position. I was scouring the internet, looking for any information I could find out about the Houston area as me and my family prepared to relocate to Texas. Today, I wanted to share with you 5 facts I wish someone had shared with me before we made Katy, Texas our home. So fact number 1. Depending on where in Katy you end up, you're going to have to deal with a lot of construction. Think of Katy in quadrants. You have the southwest and southeastern quadrants, and then you have the northern quadrants. Now, North Katy is booming. There is construction in other parts, but I wanted to focus on North Katy mostly because it is home to 2 of the biggest and top-rated master plan communities in the state, namely Ellison and Sunterra. And North Katy is also home to smaller boutique developments such as Winward and Aurora, which are some of the fastest selling communities in the Houston area. Now, all this development is great. It means there's a ton of economic activity going on. And of course, it means there are lots of options for home buyers. However, if you live in or near a community that's being built out, you will have to deal with trucks driving up and down the roads. You probably have to deal with traffic diversions, and of course there's noise. There's going to be hammers banging, power tools buzzing, and so on. Now, this scenario may not be for everyone, but I can tell you that persons who have been willing to put these temporary, and I stress temporary, inconveniences aside to get into these homes that are in beautiful master plan communities, which are attached to award-winning KTISD schools, that are close to world-class shopping and entertainment, with fairly easy commute to major cities like Houston and even Austin, they have really benefited. One of the big ways is that with regard to the appreciation value of their homes. Let me give you an example. I have a client, a repeat client, who purchased in the Sunterra community in 2022. Now, fast forward 2 years later, her home has appreciated in value by over 30%. Now, if you think of a community like Sunterra, there's still work going on. There are amenities to come in. So we anticipate as time goes on, the value of that home will increase even further. Now, having said all that, you can avoid new construction in Katy. You have established communities where you don't have to worry about construction issues like trucks and noise. You have communities like Cinco Ranch or Grand Lakes. These are mature communities. Some of those areas, though, can be hard to get into, but not impossible. You just have to have the right strategy. So fact number 2, there's lots of traffic. Whether you're moving within the city of Katy or you're commuting between Katy and Houston or some other nearby city, you will have to deal with traffic, especially during peak times. So in the morning, that's between like 7 and 9 a.m. and the evenings anywhere from 5 to 7 p.m. And it's to be expected. Population of Katy in 2023 was just over 25,000 and is expected to grow by 5.37% in 2024. You have more people moving in, more schools opening up, more amenities being built, and that means more people are trying to get from point A to point B. And that translates to more traffic, unfortunately. Now, for me personally, I think North Katy, with all the development going on, is probably the worst when it comes to traffic in the city of Katy, especially during peak time. However, there is hope. Several roads are extending and new roads are being cut. For example, planned for this year is the expansion of the Katy Hockley Road. Now that's major. This is a major road. It's going to be expanded from 2 to 4 lanes. Katy Hockley Road connects North Katy to South Katy and also connects North Katy to the I-10 and the I-290, which are major roads if you want to get to Houston. Also, we have the Texas 99. It's currently undergoing expansion. So there should be some relief coming with regard to traffic in the coming year. Now, for persons who work in Energy Corridor off of I-10 in areas like Town Center and Memorial City. Living in the south of Katy actually affords you a decent commute time. It's one of the reasons my family ended up in South Katy. My husband at the time was working in the town and country area, and from our house, it would take him about 20 minutes in non-peak times to get to the office. And that was just really too good to pass up on. Having said that, I've lived in big cities in different parts of the world, and Katy traffic is really not that bad. I still think of it as a 15-minute city. Now for me, when I talk about a 15-minute city, it means I can get to all my essential places within 15 minutes. So we're talking schools, grocery, petrol station or gas station, post office, dry cleaner, doctor's office, world-class restaurants and shopping centers, and kids' activities. And I can confirm, even in peak time, I can get to any of these in 15 minutes or less. Okay, fact number 3. Property values are going up, which translates to rising property taxes. Now, I can understand why you would want to avoid that, but here's the thing. Your home value going up is actually a good thing. It means your personal wealth is increasing, which opens up opportunity to access equity, finance, and other tools to increase your wealth. And here in the state of Texas, we have tools to help ease the pinch of rising property taxes, namely Proposition 4, which is legislation that was passed last year. And basically what that does, it increases the homestead exemption that taxpayers receive, thereby reducing or decreasing the total taxes due. Okay, so let me back up for a second. For those of you who don't know, you pay property taxes on what your county appraiser calls your taxable value. Now, how do we get to that? Well, first, the county appraiser assigns a value to your property or your home. Usually that's below market value being what you're willing to pay on the open market for this home or what you could sell your home for. From that appraised value, they subtract the homestead exemption. Now in Texas, it used to be $40,000 for persons under 65. However, because of Proposition 4, it is now $100,000 for persons under 65 and $110,000 for persons over 65. Now this only works if the home is your primary residence. Now going back to your appraised value. So you subtract your homestead exemption from your appraised value, and then you multiply that by your tax rate, and that is what you pay in taxes for the year. Now because of Proposition 4, we've actually seen a reduction in tax bills by thousands of dollars, and this has made home ownership more reachable for many people. Now, if you're in new construction, those communities usually you're dealing with a higher tax rate, something like 3.67, and this may still be a hard pill to swallow. One thing to remember is though, the tax rate will decrease with the passage of time. You see, most new communities, they've taken a bond to put in the necessary infrastructure to accommodate these communities with multiple homes and amenities and so on. So part of your property taxes, part of that rate, is effectively a repayment of that bond, which is why as time passes and the bond is repaid, the tax rate reduces. So something to keep in mind. Fact number 4, you have to consider the risk of floods. Many people don't realize that parts of Texas actually lie in the Atlantic hurricane path. In fact, in August 2017, Hurricane Harvey settled on the eastern coast of Texas and dropped 60 inches of rain in various regions. Houston got the brunt of it. And not surprisingly, since Katy is northwest of Houston, Katy got quite a bit of rain as well. According to reports, a small percentage of property was affected by flooding in the Katy area. But the reports also tell us that flooding was due to the closure of 2 reservoirs, creating an overflow situation, and then of course it impacted the communities and some homes. If you look at the FEMA flood risk map for Katy, you will see that some areas are described as being protected by levees, and that is where most of the flooding occurred in 2017. You will also notice the purple area on the map, which is described as being in the 100-year floodplain, meaning that there is a 1 in 100-year chance of major flooding in this area. However, if you look at the map in general, you'll see that most of Katy is covered in orange. Now, according to FEMA, that area is out of special floods hazard area. So beyond that, if you look at several communities in Katy, you'll see that you have lakes in these communities, you'll have bayous bordering the edge of the communities. These are devices or tools used by the master developer to control and reduce instances of flooding. Additionally, from talking with builders directly, I can tell you that many are taking even further steps to avoid flooding by the way they build. They've elevated the foundations of their homes. So while we cannot necessarily guarantee no flooding, there are a lot of protections in place and the instance is rare. So fact number 5, crazy weather. We already talked about the rain that we can get in Katy, but that's not all. Texas can experience some very warm summers. As someone from the Caribbean who's lived in the Middle East, I don't say this lightly. Temperatures during the months of May to August, thereabout, averaged 85 degrees Fahrenheit last year. And we experienced more than 100 plus degree days last summer. Now, since Katy is described as a tree city, we do manage to get some shade and breeze at certain points of the day. However, it is mainly indoor facilities for young and old that make the warm months bearable. You have facilities with pools, pickleball courts, tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts that make things more endurable. And of course, if you really need to get outside, like to walk your pet, then evenings and early morning are your best. Now, although we don't have winters like the East Coast, we do get some cold days every so often. And if there's a bomb cyclone from the north, we have had below freezing temperatures for a few days at a time. On those days, I've had clients call me thanking me for advising on a home with a fireplace. So if you're going to make the move, hint it, something to think about. Now, the transition from winter to spring is like a roller coaster. There are times you start the day with a jacket on and it's a little cool outside and so on. And then by the time the day is ended, you're in tank undershorts. So I recommend have a hallway closet where you have multiple outdoor wear options. Now, fall in Texas has been a pleasant surprise for me. Coming from the East Coast, I saw some spectacular fall foliage. It was just a beautiful time, a great time to be out and about. And I wasn't sure what to expect for Texas. But there's a lot of beauty in Texas during the fall, especially the state parks. And if you're in a city like Katy that's so green, there are lots of parks, lots of outdoor opportunities, you'll really have a great time. Now, you may not see a lot of fluctuations in weather like you see in the spring. So that as well helps you to plan things a little bit, especially if you have a lot of outdoor activities. All in all, what I have to say is that the weather in Katy and Texas in general is just like the state. It's diverse, it's interesting, and keeps you on your toes. It's been 6 years now since I called Katy Texas home. And for me and my family, the ongoing construction, the traffic, the risk of flood, the rising home values, and the crazy weather, they have not deterred us from making and keeping Katy Texas home. For us, the proximity to Houston, the comparatively low cost of living, the diverse community, great schools, world-class activities, entertainment and dining nearby make Katy really too appealing to pass. Plus, I've had the privilege of working with several families who are able to look at all the facts about living in Katy and still make the decision to make Katy Texas home. So if you're thinking of moving in 6 weeks or 6 months, if you're moving from 5 miles down the road to 5,000 miles across the globe, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be your partner, your resource in helping you achieve your real estate goals. There is so much to know about this great little city and the Houston area in general. So feel free to reach out by phone or text or just Zoom call with me using the calendar in the description below. I love making these videos. I've been there, so I love providing as much information as I can. So feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you can catch the next video. I'll be doing more of those in the coming weeks. I love hearing from you, so drop a comment or like. Let me know what you think. Let me know maybe what you'd like to see in the future, or if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching, and take care till next time.